Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of the Ask the Coach show. I'm Jeff Plum, and with me as always is Alois Rosario. Welcome, Alois.
Morning, Jeff. Another great morning. Ready for a few more good questions.
It certainly is, and I'll just get rid of the overlay so people can see me. Yep, we've got some good questions coming up today, so I'm pretty excited about the show. I hope everyone has got up early to watch it with us, or if they haven't, they can catch it later on the podcast or on our YouTube channel or on our Google Plus page. Lots of options these days, Alois.
Yes, I've been speaking to a couple of players that get up and watch it live here in Australia, 6:30. You are keen. I like it.
Excellent. Good to hear. So first up, Alois, we were talking yesterday about have you ever seen yourself play on video, and did you find it useful?
Yeah,
What's your answer to that?
Well, interesting. So even I mean, I'm not that old, but even when I played, we really didn't have a lot of video of ourselves playing. It just wasn't a thing that you did that much of. Towards the end of when I was playing, people were starting to get video cameras and video their matches and all that sort of stuff. But really, we didn't use it at all in for technical analysis and for watching yourself train and to look at your strokes. So things have really come a long way since then, and I think it's such a powerful, useful tool that everyone should try to utilize it at some stage. And nowadays, I mean, even if you just utilize your phone, just grab your phone on there, and they've got some really simple apps that you can use. Even just the video camera on your phone. Just take a short clip of yourself playing and watch it back, and you'll be really surprised if you haven't seen yourself play the things that you can pick up.
Yeah, exactly. I was the same, Alois. Virtually no video footage of me playing, maybe a few little ones I'd seen, but again, it just wasn't, there wasn't the technology around, or the video cameras were very expensive, so not many people had them. But now with the phones and everything, it's just amazing what you can do. So if you haven't, get the phone out, record some video of yourself and watch it. And as Alois said, you'll be very, very surprised. And it's very helpful. So today's PingSkillers question of the day is, what percentage of your serves are short and what percentage are long? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that and your serving patterns. So let us know. All right, Alois. Let's get stuck into these questions. First up, Leah has asked, I like to attack when the ball is long or high. However, my footwork is not that good and topspins are not consistent. People suggest that I should not try to topspin everything. Sometimes if I play more passively, I win more points. So what's better?
Yeah. So here I think we need to think about short term and long term. In the short term, it's okay to push some long balls and do that sort of stuff. Even 50% or more of the time, because you will tend to win more points against some players. But long term, and if you're really looking to reach a high level in the game, then it's important to be able to attack those long balls. As soon as they serve the ball long to you, and if you push the ball back, you're really opening up the opportunities for your opponent to make the first attack. So really base your game around that top spinning the long ball. Perhaps, Ilya, what you could think about though is you talked about your stroke not being so consistent. Maybe just slow down that first top spin. You don't need to hit it really hard. Just think about top spinning it a little bit slower on the table, just putting some pressure on your opponent by putting that top spin on the table, 90 to 100% of the time. So perhaps just scale down the level of your attack, but still try to make the attack whenever you can.
Okay, yeah, good advice, Alois. So how do you make that progression then from, so at the moment, Ilya's attacking all the time, and then you don't want to give away points, so sometimes you're going to start pushing, but then how do you make that position to actually start integrating that attack, 90% of the time or more of the time back to where he's doing now, but with a consistent stroke?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is in practice matches that you're playing against some friends, start to utilize it more and more. Start to utilize your attack more in those practice matches, and even perhaps set yourself a goal in those practice games of just doing it 100% of the time. Then you can start to integrate it into your real matches. And in those real matches, it could be when you know the result, basically. So if you know that you're going to beat the opponent easily, or if you know that you're going to lose to a stronger opponent easily, then that's a good time to start to utilize those strategies. Perhaps there at that stage, if there's some 50-50 matches that you really want to win, then you could think about using your push more and really thinking about tactically how you're going to win points against that opponent. So that's probably a nice, simple way to start to utilize those strategies that you're practicing.
Okay, and I've heard you mention a lot, and we talk about this in our training secrets section. In the training, often turning drills into games is quite good. So in practice, what would you think about Ilya starting up a game with his opponent where they played a game, you had to serve with backspin, the opponent had to push long, and you had to topspin the third ball, and then just playing the rest of the rally out and the rest of the game like a normal game, but those first three balls were kind of set on how you had to play. Would that be a good idea?
Yeah, that's a good one, Jeff. That's a really good tool that you can use in a practice situation, even not in your practice matches, but just in your practice situation. Utilize those simple modifications to a game to get you to start to think that way, to start to make that a little bit more natural into your game. Yeah, good idea, great idea.
All right, Ilya, we'll try out some of those suggestions and keep working on that topspin because it's a really important stroke. And once you develop it and get more consistent, your game will rise up to another level. So keep up the good work, Ilya. All right, now the next question, Alois, we actually got using the Q&A app on the show yesterday, but we didn't quite notice it in time, so we missed it. And this is from Lloyd. And Lloyd says, have you heard of Desmond Douglas?
Yes, I certainly have, and had the privilege of playing Desmond Douglas at the Swedish Open in about 1985 or 86. He's a fantastic player. Just really good close to the table blocker, just used to get everything back. And I remember this really clearly. He was a left-hander as well, and I remember really trying to go after my backhand and tee off on my backhand, and Desmond was just standing there going, well, just blocking the ball back as easy as you like. So just beautiful player, and yeah, I used to love watching him play as well.
Yes, he certainly had a unique style. There wasn't a lot of people just blocking around that time. And I can't remember, but I think it was in the book Bounce, Alois. I read a story about Desmond Douglas because everyone's like, oh, he's incredible with his reflexes. He's got the quickest reflexes of anyone I've ever seen. He's just always there, ready to block the ball. But I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think I read in Bounce that he had, when they did like reflex tests, he was not very good at those reflex tests. He was actually lower than a lot of the other players. And I think the point was that, anticipation isn't always about, quick reflexes. It's more about, watching the ball closely and picking up what the other player's doing. So by watching the ball so closely, he was actually gave himself more time because he knew earlier than other players where the person was going to hit the ball.
Yes, Matthew Syed certainly would have encountered Desmond Douglas in England there, the author of Bounce, and I can tell you it really did feel like he knew where the ball was coming because I was really going after those backhands, and he was seeing the ball pretty well.
Yes, indeed. So I think the lesson really here is that, watching the ball closely, even though it sounds silly, is one of the vital keys to improving your anticipation.
Yeah, and it's just a really important skill to develop during your training as well. So, yep, good
Excellent.
advice.
All right, well, thanks for the question, Lloyd, and sorry we didn't pick it up yesterday. Next one, Alois, is from Gary. And Gary says, I was playing in a tournament at my local club, and one of my opponents was blocking the view of the contact with his free hand. He would have likely have beaten me anyway, but I had no chance to return the service effectively with him blocking my view. So what should I have done?
Yeah, so Gary's talking about the serve there. So when his opponent was serving, he was blocking the view with his free arm, so Gary couldn't actually see the contact. Well, firstly, it's illegal, so you're not allowed to do that. So, I mean, if you have a qualified umpire, then maybe you can say something about it, and just mention it to them, and just make sure that they know that you can't see the contact. The problem with these is always in a club setting when you've got your teammates umpiring or your opponent's teammates umpiring, and just being able to talk about that situation in a club situation, because the umpires aren't official, they don't necessarily know the rules, and also there's a bit of a stigma behind calling people's serves for faults when they're in your team or in the opposition's team. Maybe it's something that you can just mention to your opponent after the match that you played them, and just in a friendly way, just mention it to them, because then perhaps they might not realize that they're serving from behind their arm, and that might help them as well. So yeah, it's always that service rule is always tricky, isn't it? It's just it's difficult to implement in the club situation. In the international situation, it's not so difficult because they've got official umpires and they'll call it. But yeah, in that club situation, it gets tricky.
Yeah, it certainly does, Alois. I really dislike this service rule. I think something needs to be done. And even at the higher level, the umpire sitting in the chair can't see what the player sees, so they don't have the same view. So it's actually impossible to enforce, So I think that is one rule that has to be looked at. But yeah, difficult situation, Gary. Yeah, maybe as Alois said, you could try just having a casual chat to that person. Yeah, so good luck, and if you do have a chat, let us know what the outcome is. All right, Alois. Next question is from Rayut, and the question is, I've been playing table tennis for 2 years and haven't improved much because I haven't had proper guidance. And when I'm doing the forehand topspin, I can't get the length right, and I can't transfer my weight. I've tried some shadow play, and that's helping me improve. But how do I really, in practice, improve my forehand topspin?
Yeah, so so the first thing and this is really important, the fact that you say that you can do it as a shadow swing is really good, because that's the first part of the progress. So understanding and knowing the movement and the feeling of the movement, okay, is a great first step. So now what you need to do is just progress that skill slowly. So probably the next simple progression that you can use is just get someone to bounce the ball for you, one at a time, so that they don't have the bat in their hand. Just bounce the ball on their side, on your side, just like a serve, and nice and simply, and then you just make that stroke and see if you can do that stroke one at a time. Once you can do that comfortably and consistently, then you can progress it on to a rally. So a rally where someone's just blocking the ball for you nice and simply, again really slowly, and start to play a stroke, recover, and play another stroke. And then you can start to progress it a little bit more. You can start to progress it to a situation where they're blocking a little bit faster. You can progress to them putting the ball to different spots on the table and you utilising the forehand topspin. But in essence, all you're doing is utilising the stroke that you now know and use during your shadow play. So it's just a matter of progressing that skill now to be able to utilize it eventually in a match situation and in an important match situation. So go slowly, just use those simple progressions in the skill development. And sometimes you'll get to a level and you start to make some errors. Just go back one level. So if you start to do the forehand topspin and they're blocking the ball everywhere and you're really struggling with it, go back to just getting them to hit it to one spot so you get the rhythm and the feel of it again, and then go back again and progress again. So it's always just a matter of going up and down levels of difficulty in your skill level until eventually you start to feel comfortable to be able to use that stroke at the highest level.
Okay, excellent advice and great question, Raywood. Keep working at it because that shot is really important, and as you get better at it, you're going to start enjoying your table tennis more and more. So try out those tips from Alois and let us know how you go. Okay, next question, Alois, from Sashinta. And the question is, can you tell me how I should practice my high toss serve? Sometimes I don't even get the ball to hit my bat when it's falling. When I practice, should I practice for about 45 minutes? So what are some tips, Alois?
Yeah, so Sachinta, one of the really key things about the high toss serve is just getting that the ball toss right. Just repetitive practice of the ball toss will help to start off with. You know, just being able to throw the ball up and get it back into the right position is important.
So
if you don't get
without even hitting the ball.
Yep, yeah, without hitting the ball. One simple tip that I've seen is people put a piece of paper just in front of them on the floor, and then you throw the ball up and just try to land the ball on that piece of paper on the ground. So that gets you throwing the ball into the right direction. Then you can start again to think about the progression of the skill and start to make some contacts and make the serve as well. So yeah, but one of the really key things is just getting that ball toss right.
Okay, and then yeah, so even just hitting the ball is tricky once you get the ball toss right too, isn't it? So I guess that takes some practice as well.
Yeah, it does. The contact, because the ball's falling reasonably fast once it starts to fall from a greater height, and so making the connection between bat and ball does become a little bit more difficult. So, but as everything, practice is the key. So just do it repetitively, get a box of balls and just do it. You know, I mean, we always talk about the best players in the world still practice their serves. You know, they still practice their serves half an hour, sometimes an hour a day. So yeah, just got to.
Another part of the question from Sashinta was, should I practice for about 45 minutes? But I guess it's not really about a set time, is it?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, half an hour to an hour is good. So if you can do it for 45 minutes, great. You know, just keep practicing it. Yeah, it's not really about a set time. It's about just when you're comfortable, when you feel that you're starting to get the feel of it, and then just do it a little bit more, just to get the muscle memory and to really get it set in your mind. And you'll probably find when you come back tomorrow and start, it doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel as good, but it will keep progressing during the session. So yeah, the more you can practice it, the better.
Great. And we do have a video on the high toss serve in our serving secrets section, so I'll put a link to that in the notes. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. It's been a great show. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a lot of great questions and a lot of great tips from Supercoach Alois. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you check out our website at pingskills.com and leave a comment on the show, answer the PingSkills question of the day, and if you haven't, sign up for our free newsletter. All right. Thanks, Alois.
Thanks, Jeff. Happy table tennising today, guys.